English learners and students always email me, text me, call me, and reach out to me with the purpose of asking me questions about their process of learning English. And one of the questions that they come up with, or they ask me all the time on a more frequent basis than the others, is how can we improve our English listening skills? You've learned English a lot. We've spent a lot of time learning words. We've spent a lot of time learning grammatical structures. We've been learning English for a long period of time, and we can speak English to some extent, but our listening is not as good as our speaking is. And we always have difficulty understanding native speakers. In order to provide a quick response to this question, what I should say is one of the problems with your English listening skills is your lack of knowledge of English idioms. Your poor command and knowledge of English idioms and expressions. Native speakers use idioms and expressions that you've never heard before, you've never learned, you don't know what they mean. So when you hear them, when a native speaker uses them in their conversations and you hear them, you come across them for the very first time, obviously you don't understand what that person is trying to say. So one of the ways of improving your English listening skills is by learning English expressions and idioms. First of all, to understand what the native speaker says in the first place, and in the second place, be able to communicate with them better accordingly. Let's focus on some of these phrases in today's video. The first one is actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. You may have an English conversation with a native speaker and they may say, hey, blah, 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 blah. Actions speak louder than words. And you might say, hey, what is the meaning of actions speak louder than words? What is it exactly trying to say? Well, actions speak louder than words is used to emphasize the idea that you should not judge someone by what they say. In fact, you got to judge them by what they do, or what someone does is far more important than what they say. They could be talking about millions of topics, millions of ideas, millions of things at a second, at a minute, during a short period of time. But what they say is not really that important. What you should pay attention to is what they do. So someone should be judged by what they do, not by what they say, or we should always focus our attention on, or we should give priority to what someone does in action, in practice, than just what they say or what they talk about. That's the meaning of actions speak louder than words. An example of this expression: he promised to help but didn't show up. Actions speak louder than words. He promised to help but didn't show up. Actions speak louder than words, which means he promised to help but did not show up, did not help me, did not provide me with the help that he had promised me. Actions speak louder than words. People must be judged by what they do, not by what they say, or what someone does should form the basis of your opinions of them, or should form the basis of your knowledge of them, should form the basis of your ideas about them, or should form the basis of your judgments, rather than what they say, rather than what they talk about. The next English idiom is the early bird catches the worm. The early bird catches the worm. Once again, the early bird catches the worm. The early bird catches the worm is another way of saying those who wake up early in the morning usually have more time to manage things, are better at time management skills, or are better at taking advantage of their time management skills, or generally are more successful, have more chances of meeting with success because they have more time to do things. An example of this expression: the early bird catches the worm is another way of saying those who take action earlier than others have higher chances of success, have higher chances of achieving something, reaching a goal, or meeting with success in something. So when we say the early bird catches the worm, we're just trying to emphasize the idea that those, let's say, who wake up early in the morning and start their business early in the morning, those who go to work early, those who apply for something earlier than others do, those who do something earlier than others do, or those who approach something earlier than others do are far more successful, are far more likely to meet with success, have higher chances of meeting with success. Let me give you an example of this phrase. She got the job because she applied early. The early bird catches the worm. She got the job because she applied early. The early bird catches the worm, which means the reason why she got the job, she was successful in getting the job, or she was able to get the job before other applicants was she applied for it earlier than others did. And as they always say, the early bird catches the worm. Now we're getting to the next English expression used by native speakers that might make you feel confused, might throw you into confusion at first, but if you learn it, practice it and use it and understand it, then you will no longer feel confused, which is every cloud has a silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. Once again, every cloud has a silver lining. When we say every cloud has a silver lining, what we mean is there's always a chance of success. There's always a ray of hope. There's always something to be hopeful of. Or there's always hope in every difficult situation. Or there's always a sense of positivity, a sense of optimism in every difficult and unpleasant situation. Long story short, even if the situation is unpleasant, tough, difficult, challenging, and pretty complicated to deal with or to have to face up to, there is still a ray of hope. There is still a chance of success. There is still a sense of positivity or optimism. An example of this phrase: I lost my job, but I started my own business. Every cloud has a silver lining. I lost my job, but I started my own business. Every cloud has a silver lining. So I lost my job. That was a negative thing. On the negative side, I lost my job, but on the positive side, I started my own business. So in every bad situation, in every unpleasant and annoying situation, there's always something positive that you can be hopeful of. Or there's always something positive that you can always have a sense of positivity or optimism about. Now we're getting to the next English expression, which is practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Sometimes when there is something difficult or challenging that you want to do, that you don't really know how to do, and you always end up making mistakes, or you end up doing it poorly and terribly because you've never done it before, native speakers may tell you, hey son, don't worry. No worries. Don't feel disappointed or frustrated. Practice makes perfect, which means the more you practice something, the better at doing it you will get. Or the more you do something, the more you know how to do it. Or the more you do something, the more you expose yourself to something, the better you know it and the better you get at doing it. An example of this phrase: don't worry if you make mistakes. Practice makes perfect. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Practice makes perfect. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Practice makes perfect, which means don't worry if you make mistakes. By practicing things, you can do them better. You get better at doing them. Always practicing things exposes you to better knowledge of them and also a much better ability of doing them. The next English expression used by native speakers that you gotta learn and use is don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. But what does this phrase mean? What does it mean when we say, hey, don't judge a book by its cover? When a native speaker tells you, don't judge a book by its cover, what they're trying to ask you not to do is judge someone or something by their appearance, by how they look, on the basis of how they look. So don't judge a book by its cover is another way of telling someone, hey, don't judge something by how it looks, by its appearance, by its look. An example of this phrase: he looked shy but turned out to be very funny. Don't judge a book by its cover. He looked shy but turned out to be very funny. Don't judge a book by its cover. He looked shy but turned out to be very funny. Don't judge a book by its cover, which means he looked shy but turned out to be very funny. Do not judge people by how they look, by their appearance. Always judge them by what they do, by their behavior. And the final phrase of today's video that you gotta learn, which is the most complicated and difficult one, the most confusing one that a native speaker might use and you might feel completely confused about is, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But what does it mean when a native speaker tells us, you can't have your cake and eat it too? Well, you can't have your cake and eat it too is an emphatic way of telling someone that they can't have the advantages of two situations at the same time. In other words, they cannot enjoy the advantages or benefits of two contrasting ideas all at once. They can only use one. They can only take advantage of one. So when you tell someone, you can't have your cake and eat it too, it means you can't have it both ways. It is not possible to enjoy the advantages of two contrasting or two different situations all at once. You can only have one. You can only enjoy one. An example of this phrase, he wants to travel the world and keep his 9-to-5 job. You can't have it both ways. He wants to travel the world and keep his 9-to-5 job. You can't have it both ways. He wants to travel the world and keep his 9-to-5 job. You can't have it both ways, which means he wants to travel the world. On the one hand, this is the first advantage of the situation number one. And the second advantage, the advantage of the situation number two, is he also wants to keep his 9-to-5 job to make money. Is that possible to be able to travel the world and at the same time keep your 9-to-5 job? The answer is an obvious or the most obvious no in the world. If you want to travel the world, you won't be able to have your 9-to-5 job. So you can't have your cake and eat it. He wants to travel the world and also he wants to keep his 9-to-5 job. He can't have his cake and eat it too. He can't have his cake and eat it too, which means he can't have it both ways. He can't enjoy the advantages of two different situations all at once or together. He can only have one. He could either travel the world or keep his 9-to-5 job. He cannot do both of these two things at once. And that's about all, guys. In today's video, again, like all my other videos, similar to all my previous videos, we reviewed some other English phrases and idioms used by native speakers. Now let's review these phrases once again together. Actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. The early bird catches the worm. The early bird catches the worm. The early bird catches the worm. Every cloud has a silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's about all, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you like this video in support of this channel and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll be back soon with another video.